Like these guys have just got unbelievable followings, but the level of work that they do is crazy. And I think there's a lot to learn from their sort of industry as well, and sort of seeing outside the scope of what Australia does. And do you see that as well, that they're sort of a little bit ahead in certain areas? And like what do you take from some of these blokes from overseas?
Yeah, so I think we're quite behind. I think we are held back a bit, partly some by mentality. I think also the way that their code over here is being structured isn't very helpful at all with how they're, we can go into a whole discussion about how we are behind New Zealand with the leaky buildings, and then coming over here and not using correct wraps, and you're sort of chasing your tail everywhere we go trying to meet these targets for homes, and they're not even being built properly. So, but anyways, that's a whole other issue. I think definitely the way that we build compared to over there, what's standard to over here, I still drive past sites and you see guys using silver sarking. And these clients are paying, they're trusting these builders, and it may look good, but it's not going to perform because of what's underneath and what's actually in the structure of it. So I think they put a lot more emphasis on that. And things like the Build Show, they're the big network they have of professionals are on there who are explaining details, and you can reference things. And a lot of guys from Sanford, I think he does a fair bit to do with the Build Show, like Jake Brutton and Matt Risinger on there as well. And I think that's one of them. But the other one which I do see is there isn't what we have over here is carpenters who do frame, fix, fit off, everything, that sort of thing. Over there, they don't really have a lot of that. Like the companies who have crews will do that, but if you notice, when they've got their finishing guys, they have a lot they're a lot higher detail, what we do over here. But I feel like we're starting to slowly move towards an aspect of that. It's important to be able to understand from start to finish how to do aspects across the job, but as people are starting to slowly separate themselves into the speed and the accuracy of framing, and then guys who are doing the fine finish work. It's if you're not doing one of the other, either day it's not productive or cost efficient. So if you're looking at the cost efficiency for me to go up against someone who's the guys who I use for framing, they run rings around me every single day. But then the other way, vice versa, they can't get the details to the level that I like to think that I can get it to. For the speed. So, and they have a lot of that, they have framers. All you see him doing is framing, OSB roofs, valley, awesome, detailed ridges and valley rafters and all these sort of things. You're wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then you see the other guys who are inside of carpentry, and they're just doing all finish work or trim mill work, as they call it. So I think I'm starting to see, and that's what I'm trying to sort of push, and had a few chat to builders about, I'm not going to be doing. I'll do internal, some internal framing stuff for you. I'm not going to take the whole thing on because it's not cost effective. And you sort of know your spot, or what you're good at, and sort of what you want to be. You don't want to be focusing on finishing these frames. It's not your kettle of fish. No, and I mean I enjoy it, but I don't love it. I really love getting to bring out the finer details in a product and in a project, and working with builders and saying this is how I see what you've gone, what are we thinking, how are we going to achieve the end detail for the best result possible. And early collaboration is another big part of that. I'm working with a few builders at the moment, and just in the pre-construction process, and got a decent sized project coming up next year. And it's good to be involved early to say really nice ornate ceilings and things that are coming in, and you get really excited saying and he's what do you reckon? And you don't get that involved if there's not an area of specialisation.